Okay, Nisibus, right? Okay. So, hi everyone. I hope all of you are safe and sound, and I would like to welcome you to the Lockdown Economy, a social non-profit initiative by the think tank AlterContacts to help small businesses and self-employed professionals overcome the challenges of the pandemic and reactive the economy. In Albania, it is done in collaboration with Epoka University. My name is Crystal, and our guest for today is Stela, the Chief Operating Officer of EasyPay. Hello, Stela. How are you?
Hello, team. How are you? Thanks.
Good, thank you. So I guess we can start with the questions now. So what do you do as a business? How long have you been doing it, and where are you based?
Okay, so I'm Chief Operations Officer of EZP Albania. We are an electronic money institution licensed by Bank of Albania and fully operating in the territory of Albania. We currently operate in three main pillars. So the company has been running since 2009. In 2015, we expanded further our license to an electronic money institution. And this is the new innovative solutions that are being brought by for online payments. So practically, we operate in the payments side on cash payments with 462 agents all over the Albanian territory. Which causes an impact from the pandemic, and we will further discuss. But as well, we operate in the money transfer business. We're the official partner of RIA Money Transfer in Albania. And as well, we are an electronic money institution, as said, and we operate with customers who own an electronic money wallet and would like to perform all their payments and their transactions online by using the EasyPay application. So this is an overall view of the three main activities run by EZP Albania. We're a stabilized institution. We have around 42 employees right now. We have increased a lot in the past 2 years, affected by the COVID situation, but fully coping with it and still stable in this economy.
This was my second question, like how many employees do you have, and also how many clients do you normally have?
Okay, so as mentioned in my previous answer, we have around 42 employees. We have increased from around 23 2 years ago to 42, so we have doubled. And as per regards with the customers, we have around 20K customers on the electronic money wallet solution that prefer to perform online payments, but we have approximately around 700K customers that visit daily our EasyPay shops all over the Albanian territory, and as well there are around 80K RIA unique customers that prefer to receive the money transfer operations through us.
I'm happy to hear it. Ersi, you can continue.
Okay. Stela, let us know what did you do on the business front during the lockdown?
Okay, so during the lockdown business in Albania, we actually faced issues as well. Primary issues was the unexpected situation. So nobody was expecting that the COVID situation would actually cause such an issue to the businesses and to the market. So what was key to us was preparing for an emergency plan in an unexpected situation. So the staff actually going on full remote. Which meant that on March 13, we had to prepare a backup plan for all the company to move on remote support and situation, but the businesses continuing to operate. This was one of the core issues. So planning the entire team end-to-end on offering the full operations, but not in their local working hours on their local premises, but actually through home. So this was the key area affected. So how do we actually move to operate fully, but from home? So there wasn't a detailed emergency plan that caused all teams to reorganize and try to see what activities we can actually go on and offer remotely, whereas what activities were actually impossible to be offered remotely. And for those activities that were impossible to be offered remotely, there was a backup plan on minimizing the capacities at work in the premises. And we're discussing here about IT. The core business, which is run by our type of institutions, is technical side. So if the servers, if the technical capabilities go down, the business and the full operations would actually go down. So that was the core backup. A person was actually assigned to come in emergency solutions in the local premises, whereas the rest of the company was working remote. Actually, to say the hours were even longer. So if whilst working in the premises, we had a full daily routine of coming to work at 9 and leaving around 5:30, at home we actually were full-time availability. There were times that we were working even up at night, especially the emergency team, and coping with all the agents that were actually having issues. You know pretty well that during the pandemics, the situation with the agents and the people working with the small, medium enterprises and small businesses in Albania were actually asked for shorter hours open. So it meant that the service was not fully operated even from their side. We coped with that as well. We provided full consultation legally and financially to the agents on how they could actually stay open during operation hours, how they could get the leave, the economic leave as it was called, to operate during the pandemic hours. And to tell you the truth, what we actually did on the other side was try to incentivize the customers to move to online. We are an electronic money institution, as mentioned, and we very much like the customer to try and experience the way of paying in their own safety, especially during the COVID times. Stay at home, stay safe. You take advantage of paying all the needed transactions on bills, electricity bills, water bills, taxations, even customers that would prefer to make their food orders with the merchants that we currently have in our bucket. So they were actually ordering and receiving their orders at home. So this was a balancing, trying to help our agents survive the difficult situation that was created due to COVID, having our entire team at their service in order for them to make it easier to work with the customers, because they needed to survive financially in operating with shorter hours. But on the other side, serving to the customer experience by moving our services online fully. So this was a pretty an ecosystem that was worked with the emergency team, and we had a full team as well, 4 girls that were dedicated to customer and agent support remotely. So we had people answering calls full time during the day in order to support on how they could best get the service and how the agents could best offer the service.
Okay. What about the simulation of the business and attracting the customers? What worked that didn't work about this step during the lockdown?
Yes. So it definitely worked that we sent communication, bulk communications through emails and mass media communication. Social media was a key trigger to invite people to try the online services, register with us, have a tolerance level that they could actually experience the application and the payments, and then check the possibility on them running the transactions, offer possibly incentivization schemas like lowering the commission fees. What really worked with EasyPay was very low commissions for people to pay online. So there were no extra commissions in order to take advantage in the poor situation where we were, but actually we believed in the increasing of the customer base. So this was a good point, that we lowered the commission and invited people to actually pay through online services. This definitely worked, because what we saw in end of March and what we saw by April was tripled value of the customers that actually prefer to use online services with EasyPay. What actually didn't work well was what happened post-April. So you definitely must know that Albania is a very cash-based society. So 70% still prefer to get the feeling, the touch of the physical money, and are not 100% sure, or are not 100% financially educated, that there are services that could actually use online. They are safer, quicker, real time. So I wouldn't say that there were things that didn't work during the pandemic, because the company was pretty much very organized to deal with it. This was due to having all the companies set up in an emergent way to offer full backup. But I would say that still in Albania, there are issues that don't work entirely with the cash. Still, people are very loyal to cash. So we'll see again now that EasyPay is still continuing in the market. It's pretty good at it. But if we take on a balance online payments versus cash payments, unfortunately, still cash is the king in Albania and still continues to rule. So we're still working a lot on having the customer believe the alternative solutions on the online payments by having real-time and very quick payments on their side as well. And we believe that they will get the benefit of it at a shorter term.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So my first question was, how is your business doing right now?
Okay, so the business is actually doing pretty good, and we have picked up by the causes that we had, the impact that we actually had during COVID. The part on the online payments did a lot of play during the COVID in order to have the company still running up. But as I said, we saw that the customers still continue to be focused post-April in the cash. It's very, I wouldn't say the word strange, but it's surprising rather that the money transfer business, the remittances, they actually picked up right in April. So the company had around 2.6 times higher transactions in the money transfer business. And we just closed the values of the reporting values for 2020, and we have an increase on year. It's very good that the company is stabilized, operating, but actually we see an increase. Even if we're a startup on the electronic money business, by having a well-managed operations and work with the company, even during COVID and unexpected times, it means that there are still opportunities that the companies can still survive. There are still some key challenges remaining from times, because there are many legislations changing right now, and taxations are changing right now. There is an increase, for example, in the minimum wage. Increase means there are higher payments for businesses side. So there are a lot of changes happening on the fiscal side as well as on the economy overall. But EasyPay is doing pretty good, and we're happy with that.
And would you say that you know how your customers are doing right now?
So right now, by the fact that the customers are increasing and the transactions per customer, which is a key indicator, is increasing in value, this means that they are becoming loyal to EasyPay. So what the customer is happy. We have a pretty good team dedicated to analyzing all customer claims and all customer inquiries. And service to them shows that it's a pickup, that once you serve to them based on their requirements, it actually works and the customer language is heard and understood in order to reflect them onto more, for example, incentivation schemas, more customers being attracted. And what we see is the customers that we currently have could actually become ambassadors to other customers that don't know about EasyPay and want to learn about the product and start using them. This is the key trigger, causing a chain reaction. Once you work on causing a chain reaction, then afterwards, the word will not be heard by the company, but they'll actually be told by one customer to the other. So definitely we're a key customer and agent focused business. And at all times, you want to hear what the customer has to say in particular.
That's great. And what is the outlook for the upcoming months?
So we see an increase. So that is the key word that I could use. It's going to be a challenging year. You might have heard that the Albanian Parliament passed the PSD2, which is the second payment service directive. It will cause a lot of innovation and a lot of changes to many businesses, because we're talking about increasing the opportunities for small payments, and more businesses would like to enter this type of a business that EasyPay has been working in for years. So there will be a lot of competition increase, but a lot of collaboration between key actors. So right now we see that the collaborations will increase. Banks and non-financial institution like ours, non-bank financial institution like ours, are actually the key actors that will be present in this communication. And by collaborations, we mean that there will be joint products which will increase further the gain from the business cases. We see an increase even from the remittances side. Remittances actually had the moment that they had a downturn during 2020, but this was during in April, because the economies abroad, the main triggers and the sent transactions to Albania, like Germany and Italy, were actually fully closed, which meant that there were no remittances flowing into Albania because the agent locations at their side were closed, so no business being offered. But what we see by the end of 2020 and in the continuation of the years, remittances definitely will increase, and we definitely know that our markets are pretty much dependent on them. So EasyPay has it as a key business, and definitely will see it increase on their side as well. On payments, indeed, the payments are increasing too. They are a stabilized solution in the market, and by payments we mean utility payments, tax payments. They will always be present, and the business relies on them. So overall, we see a very positive increase that will be caused by 2021 and onwards.
That's great. And my last question is, what are 3 things that you need help with?
Okay, so as I mentioned in my previous answers, it's a very changing financially, fiscally, even innovative-wise. The world is changing a lot, even the business side. So key triggers are a business will always need IT development capacities. Right now, we have a full team of 9 people dedicated on full development in-house, but definitely there is more room to IT developers, talents that are focused on developing new innovative solutions. So even EasyPay has a key need to attain more talents and more capacities on innovative solutions build-ups and developments. This is one of the key triggers. Another one that the company needs help with is project management. We know that in Albania there are many companies that actually survive on the daily routines. In the end, there is a key need for strategy and project management, which means that the business has its own rule of prioritizing the key products, key projects that lead to end products, which means that strategy is clear, but there is project governance and project outflow. So project governance is a key need for markets and startups right now. And another point that I could mention was, so for example, what is the changing legislation? So right now there are 4 main laws changing. So what companies will need right now is consultation and full interpretation on the legal and fiscal changes. You might have heard of PSD2 I mentioned before, but as well the Albanian market is moving on to fiscalization, which means that the entire players, the small, medium businesses, as well as the very small businesses, will be impacted by fiscal. And what all our businesses, even EasyPay, needs right now is understand what is the full impact of all the legal and fiscal changes right now in 2021 in Albania. And then after understanding and interpreting well such changes, cascading that down to the key players such as the agents in the market.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you.
So my first question is, which of your business operations were mostly affected?
Which ones were mostly affected? As I said during the answers, the most affected ones were actually sales. So why sales? Because the agents that were offering the services physically for the payments or the money transfer, RIA is physical money transfer, were actually very dependent on the timeline that the government let them in order to offer the services. If you remember correctly, I think in end of March, there was a time frame of offering services up to 5 p.m. and mainly people were actually at work up to those hours. If not physically present, they were actually at work at their home. So afterwards, they wanted to make payments or possibly receive a money transfer, but we were not allowed to operate through the agencies. Afterwards, an increased timeline up to 7 p.m. So definitely, I must say that the sales, the physical presence of the sales were fully affected. Were affected even from operations side, meaning that we have a team of sales support to our agents that did not travel during those. So we have 5 area managers that don't visit our agents. They were unable to travel. What we did was pass them on to follow up via Zoom, via online meetings, and then in particular focus on the monitoring of transactions through online solutions. What was next affected, the second one, was IT. So IT was continuing to develop outside, so remote, but on the other side, we had that one key person who was responsible to ensure that the servers were up and running and the network not fixed. So that person was even physically. And if we had an emergency need, that person, even in COVID and quarantine, had to come to the offices and make sure that everything was up and running. These were the most two affected areas.
So how did you rearrange this operation to adapt to the lockdown challenges and to manage their efficiency?
So as I said, for the sales part, what we did is interpret the law, get legal opinions on it, and ask for the economic permission for the agents as financial intermediaries in order to continue offering their services even post-quarantine hours. And at all times, believe me, we had cases that the agent was calling saying that the police was at their location and asking for them to close down the shop because they were not allowed to offer the service. So we were the ones making the consultation, the communication directly with the police on issuing the papers that we had to put on the glasses in order for the police to see that this was an allowed business to operate. Because unfortunately in Albania we still have a lot of types of businesses that operate. So there was not a full understanding of which type of businesses were allowed to operate versus which ones weren't. So this was during the April time. How we coped with it, we got a legal opinion, we got a consultation. We were the key consultants to our agents, available even 24 hours per day in order to talk directly with the police, with the issues, and even at cases, we were the ones to perform the work of the agents in order to get their allowances via the e-Albania site that was created. So full support, that is the key word that I can use. If efficiency was a need and it was an aim for our company, we were there to support fully the agent and the customer in order to get what was the impact and what was the need during the COVID time. And for IT, the development side was passed on to full remote. We prioritized the key projects that we needed at that point in time. So efficiency was achieved by saying that if we want customers to continue to offer services even during pandemics, and then attain the services by us, then we need to focus on them. So all projects that were cash-based and they were based on offering physical services were moved on to a second priority. And the first priority of the projects became on online payments. Whilst the person that is in charge for the network, which is the person that has the keys and the triggers which are needed for the servers for up and running, was that person that even during COVID times, he had that Albania allowance in order to come to the offices if anything was wrong. So full backup at all times.
So thank you for this interview, Stela.
Welcome.
Thank you to everyone who joined us today. Feel free to contact us using the links in the description, and don't forget to follow us on our YouTube channel.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
You too.
Bye.